Perhaps the shake-ups amongst Roman emperors, described in the previous lecture, lessened their focus on persecuting Christians. During the same period, the Church in Africa's northeast began to repair some of the damage caused by persecution. Many congregations had been rendered desperate to continue its worship, teaching, and handling of sacraments. Damage resulted when some churches had departed from church teachings, allowed the unqualified to lead due to death, imprisoned, exile, or abandonment of its leaders, ordained clergy out of desperation, members who chose to worship Roman gods with great ease to avoid being persecuted, splintered due to aggressive advocates for social justice at the expense of faith, become so impoverished due to confiscated wealth they were susceptible to bribes, accommodated persecuted refugees from other faith traditions, increasingly grew disenchanted about practicing their faith, allowed themselves to be used by Rome to harass other Christians. This repair included the excommunications of deacons and bishops, as well as the limiting of authority of others. But that wasn't enough. To ensure that all Christian congregations had purged erroneous teachings and the clergy who advocated them, in 325 AD, the First Council of Nicaea was held, and led by two great Egyptian spokesmen. Just to give some perspective, before this council, Africa and Africans had already made significant contributions to Christianity. Africa was already considered the intellectual center of the Christian Church. The following is a small sample of contributions to Christianity made by Africans, or in Africa, that ultimately shaped Western Christianity as we know it today. Three noteworthy facts I want to mention about the outcome of the First Council of Nicaea. The first is, though the dissenting congregations in Africa's northwest protested and did not believe their interests were represented at this council, none of their teachings nor any of their clergy were found to be heresy. The second is, the ancient customs of Libya and Egypt and Pentapolis were to be maintained, and its archbishop, the Egyptian Alexander of Alexandria, was honored. And the third is, because Egypt had the expertise, Archbishop Alexander's computists were tasked with recalculating the date of Easter for all Christian churches, using an astrometric method rather than basing it on the Hebrew calendar, which had been recently modified. Finally, eager for the conversion of Ethiopia, a Christian evangelist from the Ethiopian royal court travels to Alexandria, Egypt. There, he requested that Athanasius, the Patriarch of Alexandria, who was the spokesman at the First Nicene Council, send a bishop and some priests as missionaries to Ethiopia. However, Athanasius believed the evangelist was the most suitable person for the job and consecrated him as bishop. He returned to Ethiopia to continue his missionary work, where he baptized the king. Then, in 333 AD, the king of Ethiopia adopted Christianity as the state religion, while Rome was still yet to do so. For more details about these and other African Christian events, click on the link to the 8th of 11 videos, as well as by purchasing the book, Surveying Christianity's African Roots, in the description below.